Hello everybody, we are live. Match reaction straight after the game. Arsenal v Everton. The score was 0-0. Get in the comments, get involved. We want to hear what you have got to say after the game. Paul, I'll speak to you first.
Hello.
How are we after that?
Yeah, it was sort of it was just attack versus defence, wasn't it? Really, pretty much all the way through. Bar a chance in the first half for Decore. So we defended well as a unit. We kept the ball okay a couple of times. Pickford made a good few saves, and Arsenal didn't have too many answers to our shape and position and being able to throw a tackle in every now and then.
Yeah, Emma said a draw, right? Well, you did predict a draw, but you went 1-1. So you got the result right. You got the actual draw right. You didn't get the correct score, Emma, but you was very close. When you say a draw does happen, to be fair. So, yes. Of course, below me, we've got the Albanian master. Broja did come on. I was looking at 60th minute. I was screaming and shouting to get Broja on. And he come on about 64th. Dyche went after Arsenal to make the substitutions. No surprise. Arteta made the substitutions first, and Dyche followed about 5-6 minutes later. But Broja did come on, which I'm sure you'll be happy about. How did you feel with that game?
Well, it went kind of as I expected, to be honest. Arsenal are not a bad side, definitely a good side. But yeah, what a grab to get.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I made it for you.
Like Arsenal, they primarily play on like crosses and set pieces, and when they meet the set piece masters that are Everton, of course they're not going to do too much. So I didn't expect too many goals today, and as we can see, Everton kept it quiet. They didn't have the biggest chances. I was hoping Broja maybe could get a break or two where he could cause some damage, but I think it was just a bit too hard because they were too deep, Everton, and he had some scraps, and he did all right at holding the ball up. But yeah, I think he did what Dyche wanted him to do, and in the end, a 0-0 is fantastic for Everton, I think.
Yeah, well, we'll go through the game. We'll try and, in our heads, go through the game of what we remember. We'll talk about different patches, and we'll highlight little things. But, Paul, you mentioned it at the start, Decore. It was a big chance, wasn't it? Probably, if you were to say who you didn't want the chance, no offense to Decore, because I had Decore in this team because I thought Decore was massive on us being able to stay compact and defend well today, and I think he did a really good job on coming and making the three centre midfielders a 3, not a 2. And I think Decore, he defended really well. He put a lot of energy into the game. He closed down, and the energy side, Decore was fantastic today, in my opinion. But when it comes to a chance this earlier on, Decore probably wasn't the person you wanted. It was a good tackle, but I think he could have probably took it earlier. Do you agree with me? Like, hit the shot a bit more earlier, or cut in on the other side.
Yeah, but that's Decore all over, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's Decore all over. He's just always a few seconds. He's always a few seconds just off it a little bit. We never do. We never take our chances quickly enough. That's the only problem that we've got. But yeah, we didn't. I memean, we didn't really have any other chances, to be honest. We managed to get the ball in there half a few times, but DCL couldn't keep hold of it. He'd win as a throw-in or keep it up there for a little bit, but Arsenal just too. I mean, it's basically 4 people against 1 striker there, and then they get control of it. But Arsenal were very slow about coming forward, I thought. There were plenty of opportunities for them to get forward quicker and us be out of position, even in the last 2 or 3 minutes as well. But they were just too slow getting forward. We managed to race back, get in position, everyone dug in, threw in late tackles and everything else. And Arsenal weren't on it today in terms of making it hard for us. I don't think it seemed fairly.
Do you
Well,
think that
maybe
that
it's
was
just how
due
well
to
we
us?
defended, but it seemed fairly
Yeah.
comfortable. Well, probably a bit of both. A bit of both. I think Arsenal. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Havertz, for example. I think we've always managed to wind Havertz up, and he just puts a sulk on and things like that. I think Saka's fantastic. I thought he did a few really good things today, but Mykolenko was good against him. You know, I did wonder about a penalty going against us towards the end, but thankfully they Craig Pawson didn't do his usual thing and let us off. I didn't think it was a foul, to be fair, but there you go. So yeah, I thought Arsenal were a little bit off it, a little bit slow, but we defended really well.
Sack Arteta, I can see in the comments. Arsenal fans won't be happy with that. I mean, you mentioned that they didn't move the ball forward as fast as they should, Arsenal, but I do think that we continuously put players in front of them to slow them down on getting forward. There was always players around. I've seen in the comments Pickford fantastic. So I think Pickford was into the game very early on. Pickford wasn't he? I think from the very start of the game, Pickford had to be on it, and he really was. There's Radiant. You're like a newish Everton supporter. You've come with Broja. Pickford, when he's good, he is really good, isn't he? And sometimes he comes out and you think, what is he doing? But if he didn't do it, we'd be in trouble. And today he was just like he's like a volleyball player. He was like Superman. He was doing everything. Like, he was fantastic, and he saved us so many times early on in the game. And he ended up doing it all the way through the game. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he's a great keeper. I was really surprised when he made that save in the 20th minute or so, where it basically looked like Arsenal were going to make it 1-0. But I think Decore maybe gets a touch on it, and then it ricochets off a couple of players, but he still manages to save it. It was just an incredible save by him. I think overall he's just a keeper who's very good when he's on it, as you say. When he's mentally on it and when he's preparing for something great, uh, he will do well. And I think he loves playing away from home as well. He loves giving it the big into to the home fans, and you could just see throughout the game he was loving every time he was time wasting and doing all the shenanigans. So yeah, I personally really like watching Pickford, and I just think he's a great keeper, to be honest.
Radiant's right into there, Paul, because if Pickford was in like a team top of the league where he didn't have to do nothing, I think he'd hate it. I think he likes being at Everton where he's the hero, where he has to make all these shot stops and super saves and stuff like that. He loves being the main man, and he just fits well with us. And he's kept. We'd be in the Championship if it wasn't for Pickford, and he just keeps it up. And I think he had a little blip about probably 5 or 6 games ago where he wasn't that good for England, and he was looked a bit off it for us. Where I think he passed it to Son in the Tottenham game, and you thought, Pickford, come on. But now he's straight back to the top end of his game, and I think he was fantastic today.
Yeah, a little wobble here and there, but everyone does. It's just that when it's a goalkeeper, particularly the England goalkeeper, media just jump on it straight away. And I mean, we know how good he is and how amazing that he's been for us as well. It's just, if that was ever if that's his blip, then that shows how good he is, because that blip just lasted moments. It's just people in media don't really watch us enough. So they say, he's not been good for Everton. Well, actually, he has, and he's been amazing the last few years. And again, was today. Goalkeepers I don't think goalkeepers dream of being in like the best team and not doing anything for 90 minutes. Goalkeepers' best games are when they're making however many saves. So yeah, he'd be bored to tears, to be honest. He'd be bored to tears. So I'm glad we've got him, because we can definitely keep him busy.
Everton Soccer Academy Uganda. I'd love to hear all you in the comments. Get your comments in. We'll put as many as we can on the screen. Pickford is one of the best goalkeepers when he comes out saving balls. He is the best when he's on it. I can't think of no better. You watch him for England as well. He's done more than enough to win England trophies. It's been the players that have let him down. Pickford was fantastic. Now, we said a little bit about Pickford. A player that normally does get stick for Everton at the minute, a player that's probably in the spotlight, I don't know whether you'd agree. It's our left back, Mykolenko. And I think if you're quick to give him stick, if he does have a good game, let's give him a bit of praise. And today I thought he was fantastic. I really did think he got stuck in Mykolenko and he was fantastic. There you go. Look, he's said it already. He said it already. He agrees with me. He was really good, wasn't he? There's a lot of critics out for him, and I thought he was fantastic today, coming up against Saka. But one thing I will point out, I think Mykolenko was fantastic, but today made me realise why they play Iliman and Ndiaye left wing sometimes, because I think Iliman and Ndiaye is really good defensively. Yeah. When he squares up to Saka, he's really skillful attacking, but because he's skillful, Iliman and Ndiaye knows what the attacking players are going to do, so he can read where Saka's going to go, and his defensive work today, left back, I thought Mykolenko and Iliman and Ndiaye was actually a good combination to completely stop Saka down that side. Where I thought that Arsenal would be strong down that side, I think they was stronger at the Martinelli side. I think we actually absolutely stopped them down that side. And I thought we defended well. So shout out to Mykolenko and Ndiaye. You agree with me there, don't you, Radiant? Mykolenko.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of his harshest critics because I barely ever watch him play a good game. But today he was all over the pitch. He was doing all sorts of stuff. And I also think that penalty call at the end, it wasn't a penalty at all. I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have called it because we know the history of these refs. But luckily he didn't do it. And it was a great tackle, in fairness, by Mykolenko. So yeah, really good game by him. He was certainly up for it. And people are telling me he only plays well against Salah and Saka. So maybe he's also a bit like Pickford. He only likes the big occasions. So yeah, really surprised by him there. And I like the fact that you point out Ndiaye as well. He's just quick on his feet and he's good at reading these moves by Saka, for example. So he can easily defend him. And I think it was a really nice dynamic there at the left-hand side. And I love players in general like Ndiaye, who when he has to attack, when he has to play his role as a 10, he's fantastic. But when you also have to do the dirty work, he can also do that. So I think it's a really good thing to have for Everton as a team, a player like him.
You make a good. You're glad you agree with me there. You make a good point, and I think Ndiaye is a blessing for us because even sometimes when we really struggle to get up the pitch, he did get us up the pitch. We're kind of gone from Pickford. We've gone to a left back. We'll try and move across the players. I think Branthwaite started really. We'll move on to the centre backs now. I think Branthwaite started really nervous, and it's not something you normally see. But with him coming back from a long injury, I think his confidence. You can see he's trying to find his form that he had last season, and you can't get on his back. You've got to give him time. But he looked like he had a mistake on him in the start. He underhit the pass to Pickford, and he looked a bit not his normal self, Branthwaite. But as the game went on towards the end, he looked solid, didn't he? It looked you felt comfortable then. He was winning the headers in the box, big headers, and he looked good towards the end. So I think you've seen probably our centre backs go through the motions and then look really strong towards the end of the game. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I'd reckon he made me a little bit nervous today, Branthwaite, and that doesn't often happen. Just passes. Just a couple of, a bit of a short pass once or twice to Pickford, and one when we had it where we were passing around the back. First half it was, I think, passing around the back, and then he's just played it 5 yards. I think he was trying to give it to Decore on the halfway line, but it was nowhere near him. And then Arsenal break, and he's saying, "Oh God, now we're in trouble." But defensively solid again, so he'll get it. He's got to go through certain experiences to get where we want him to be, which is playing for England and being the best in the Premier League, and hopefully he does it with us. He'll get there. He will get there. He's just like you say, coming back from a long time out, and we're not the strongest at the moment. But saying that, Man United aside, we've kept a few clean sheets and. Defensively, as a unit, we look okay at the moment.
Like I said to you at the start of the game, I was the same as you. I was worried about Branthwaite, thinking, "Don't mess up here." But then at the end of the game, I felt really comfortable that we could actually see out the draw. And I think when you think back to us trying to against Bournemouth, conceding that many goals late on at the start of the season against Bournemouth, we looked a lot better this Arsenal game. We actually looked like, yes, we're not going to concede. And I think he started really edgy, but I do think he played well. I'm going to chuck Ashley Young on you, Radiant. What did you think of Ashley Young? Was you happy with him, or did you think he was a weakness?
I think for a guy who's 39 years old and is going to play against his son in a couple of weeks, I think anytime he doesn't make a big mistake or something like that, I think you have to be satisfied with him. So yeah, I think he was actually all right again. And I think it was perfect by Everton to prioritize the defense of the left-hand side, to keep out Saka and then let Martinelli do it, because he's not that great in comparison to Saka. And I think overall, Ashley Young, he actually dealt quite well with him. So I was quite satisfied with him, to be honest.
No, I'd say that the Arsenal missed the trick. Not once did I see them sort of double up on our right hand side. I'd expect fullbacks to get well involved there, and when Martinelli went off, I thought, here we are. Trossard's a bit pacey and everything else, but he didn't do anything. Young just knew he was going to go inside on his right foot every time, and they've missed some massive tricks today. So
we mentioned it in
fortunate for us.
The Arsenal fan said in the pre-match when I said, "What do you think our weaknesses?" As everyone says, he says Ashley Young. He did have Trossard starting, but as soon as he seen Ashley Young, he put Martinelli in as his start, and there was a yellow. Ashley Young did get a yellow card for taking Martinelli out, but that was late on. I think Young dealt with him quite well. Like I said, though, I do think that if there was going to be a goal for Arsenal, it's going to come down our right-hand side, their left-hand side, because that's where they looked like they could do us. There was taking us on a little bit. There was getting around the outside and whipping crosses in on their left wing. But on the Mykolenko side, we stopped them completely. So I was a bit more worried down our right-hand side than what I was on left. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to chuck it on you, Paul, this one. Mangala and Ndiaye are two centre midfielders. What do you think?
Brilliant. Really good. I think Mangala's settled in really well. I mean, it kind of freaks you out a little bit when they keep hold of the ball an extra second or two when they're surrounded by about 3 or 4 players. But they're so comfortable. I mean, he's so comfortable on the ball, and he works really well with Ndiaye. And I still think Decore is one of our weaker players, even defensively. So I'd still have as the main two would be Mangala and Ndiaye. But even as a 3 today, they worked well. They were well drilled. People might not want to give too much credit to Deitch for a point away, but you could tell the shape that they were going into every time, and they worked hard as that 3. And when one wasn't back in shape, then another one would move over, and they worked really well defensively to do that. There's lots of questions about going forward, but you can't be upset with a point away at Arsenal, who are going to finish in the top 2 or 3 this season. So it is a good result and a great performance.
They did look organised today, which I say, if a team's going to beat you, you've got to make them work for it. But we look really organised today, and like you've just said, Paul, I think sometimes I've seen if Ndiaye was a bit more forward, Decore just ran in Ndiaye's position, and same if Mangala was a bit more forward, Decore just ran into his position. So Decore just filled in whatever looked fragile in the centre, and that is the big advantage about Decore, because Decore has played in the 2. Not as good as these 2, I don't think, but because he has played in the 2, he can fill in that role, and he can really strengthen it when he drops back. A lot of people did have issues with Decore playing because it looks defensive, but I think against a team that like Arsenal, you've got to make sure that you don't lose this game away from home, and I think it worked well. I've saved this for you, Radiant, because I think you're probably still fuming with him from last game. Jack Harrison. What did you think on his game?
Well, I don't think he was as bad as the last game. I think that's impossible. But yeah, I think overall, I just don't think he's that good of a player. A guy who keeps getting loaned out, there's a reason why he's not at his parent club more. So yeah, don't really see what's there with him. I prefer Lindstrom, to be honest, even though he hasn't performed that well for Everton so far. So yeah, nothing catastrophic from Harrison today, but nothing to shout home about either.
You mentioned, I mean, I'll chuck it on Paul as well now, but you mentioned Lindstrom. Did you think Lindstrom was good when he come on?
I think it was all right, to be honest. Sometimes he maybe could have been a bit cooler, a bit more composed when he had to drive the ball forward. I think he maybe rushed it a bit and just tried to hoof it up. But yeah, I think overall he was all right. And he's also a guy who's quite good defensively as well. So he can work both ways when he plays on either wing. So yeah, I think it was okay.
Paul, I mean, Harrison, Radiance just gave his opinion on him, but I gave him a big build-up to this game saying, right, let's see the Harrison from Leeds. And I know he was doing a lot of defensive work, so you're never going to see him have this world-beater game. But often, I feel, when he's got the ball, he looks like he's skillful, but he doesn't show it. He runs into players instead of around players, and it really confuses me because he's got good feet, good touch, but he never uses it to full effect. I mean, you look at Mykolenko and Ndiaye with the ball. It's completely different to Harrison. They're both small and nippy. And why is Harrison not doing it for us, you think, Paul?
I wonder, sort of thinking back to his time at Leeds, everything went through him. All of Leeds' play went through him. So the number of times that he would have the opportunity to do something good was obviously far greater than the number of chances that he has with us. And so it's picked out far more easily. You know, if you gave him like he had with Leeds 6, 7, 8 chances to make a key pass or to score a goal or whatever it was, then he would do it, and that would be the bit that everyone would see on Match of the Day or anything else. But he's hardly getting 2 or 3 opportunities to do something important in the game, and at the moment, when it comes to those 2 or 3 chances, he doesn't do those things. His ratio of doing it is not great. So perhaps it's that and the pressure of that, because he never looks comfortable on the ball. He never really looks comfortable, does he? You know, even when he's
in the comments, Paul, someone said he's a confidence player.
Yeah, his control, bringing the ball down and everything, not a problem, really good. But if you're having a right midfielder or a right winger, you'd want them to have a go at the fullback. And I don't think Harrison ever or hardly ever does that. You know, maybe it's because he's not done the pace or anything else. Blues mentions about injuries, and that might well be the case. You know, he does a job. He does a job. He's a squad player for me. I think he'll come on and he'll be all right defensively, and he'll help your fullback. I don't think he's got pace to beat their fullback. He can put a cross in, but not under pressure. So, like I
think
like the lad Blue says, for example, you know, they're not a big lover of Jack, but his work rate is high, which is why Sean likes him.
For me, when you play the style that we do, which is often counter-attack, your wingers have got to be able to take on the opposition. They've got to, because the only way that you're going to get up sometimes is a ball into your striker or your wingers actually getting down the wings, taking the player on, and then you're being able to bomb forward with your wingers. So for us, our style of play, our wingers have to be effective and have to be able to take on the other wingers. And Jack Harrison, for me, doesn't do that as much. He's not threatening enough as much as I'd probably like. Calvert-Lewin, he started up front. We'll talk about him. We've kind of gone through most of the players now. We are saving the Albanian until last, by the way. I will mention this. I have got a bit to say on this. Calvert-Lewin started the game. We all knew he would. I could tell in the press conference that Dyche would start Calvert-Lewin. And what was your thoughts on Calvert-Lewin? I mean, he didn't get much service. Could he have been better, though, with the little scraps that he got?
Go on, Reddy, you go.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with Calvert-Lewin, he's always a guy I've appreciated because I think he's quite good at what he does. We can't expect him to be this world beater who scores 25 amazing goals every season, But what he does, he's actually quite good at it. He wins his duels. He'll bully some defenders. He'll be there when you need to win a header or defend a corner or something. I don't think he did that quite well. What I noticed and what kind of annoyed me in this game was every time when a ball was hoofed up to him and he won the header and he headed it backwards, nobody was running in behind him. I think that's the whole idea of playing this style of football. He wins the header down, and then the wingers can go and attack or something. But yeah, I think he had few scraps to work with. He did all right, but he wasn't really helped too much today, so I can't fault him.
Chuck that on you, Paul. Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, same thing. Redding says. I mean, even when Broja came on, same sort of service. You're battling for scraps. None of the balls into DCL were quality balls today. It's on high. It's coming from up there. And so he's just battling around to get a touch on the ball and to try and keep possession. A couple of times he managed it, win a free kick, win a throw in, stuff like that. But it's almost a thankless task, that job. Because you never look as though you're making a difference. Actually, what you are doing is that you're giving your defenders respite, you're giving the midfielders respite. And if he didn't sort of cause a fuss up there, if they just got it back literally with no pressure whatsoever, then you don't have any chance to get a breather in. So even though it doesn't look as though he's doing anything, his job's actually really important, and it is one of those sort of thankless tasks because it just looks shite.
No, I'm with you, but one thing I will say, and we'll move on to this player now, is I didn't think Calvert-Lewin did anything wrong. He didn't get much service. But then when the Albanian king, Armando Broja, come on, who I did a little bit of a song on, when he come on, he is a shithouse, He does look like he can get stuff from nothing. And there he is, look, super sub. I hope he's not a sub soon. I hope he's a starter. But when he come on, he really did rattle the centre-backs. The two centre-backs was in a lot more of a game than what there was in with Calvert-Lewin. And I think if you was to say to the two Arsenal centre-backs, who did you prefer playing against, Calvert-Lewin or Broja, they would have said Calvert-Lewin was a lot easier than Broja. And I just think that Broja has got... And I'm not just saying this because you're on, but I honestly do think he's going to be the answer this season if we can get him fit, because there was a moment where I think they wound him up really bad. He's there on the screen. I think they wound him up really bad, and he just down our left hand side, he smashed into one, smashed into another, and these are big centre backs, the Arsenal centre backs. They're probably some of the best centre backs in the world, but they just couldn't get the ball off him. And that pumps me up. I like that. I liked it when he showed that little bit of, I'm going to boss you. You can't get the ball off me. I liked it. And that run got me going down the left-hand side. He does look like he's got something massive, Radiant. I'm ready for it. But one thing I will say is he didn't score.
I think there was a guy mentioning in the chat.
To anybody that... I thought he was going to score. I really want him to score as well because I love him. He's like my new Lukaku, I tell you. To anybody that's new on the channel, Radiant's, he said if he doesn't score in 6 games, he's jumping in the freezing cold water. This is his second game, and he didn't score against Arsenal. But we have got on the show that Radiant does a forfeit if he doesn't score. So if you can in the comments, please think of a forfeit for Radiant to do live now, because he didn't. It's harsh because he's only got 20 minutes. Daesh is an idiot. But if you can think of a forfeit for Radiant to do live on the show, then we'll get Radiant to finish off the show with a forfeit. But no, I'm not saying he played bad though, because he played incredible. I do think he's the man. What was your thoughts on him when he come on? Because I know you would have had your eyes glued on him.
Yeah, I was just watching the game calmly, but when he was subbed on, I was, at the edge of my seat, because that's the effect he has on me. I liked it, to be honest, but not too much to do. Of course, I liked it against Wolves a lot more because he was on the ball. He barely even had the ball today against Arsenal. But as I said before, I think Daesh subbed in on to keep the ball a bit. to relieve the pressure of the defense and the midfield. And I think he did his job. But yeah, as you say, that run down the left hand side, I liked it a lot too, because it was 5 players, switching up to try and team up on him, and he's just so powerful. He's a strong, big guy. He doesn't let you do that if he's really on it. And I like the fact that you mentioned he's got a bit of arrogance, you can even call it, about him, where if you piss him off, he's gonna really try to put you down in your place. People might call it arrogance. Maybe he's just very confident. I like the way I like when I see a player who genuinely believes in himself and tries to humiliate the opposition at times. And I think I wrote also a couple of times, this Gabriel guy who likes to be a tough guy, a big man. He was on the floor a couple of times when he was up against Broja.
Yeah, he was, and that's what I'm saying to you. And I do think, like, has he got bigger? Because his build today, when I was looking at him, I was looking at his head and his shoulders. He looked meaty today, Has he bulked up in size, would you say? Or was he always this big?
I mean, for the last couple of months, he's been this big. I think he definitely bulked up when he had his first, the big injury with Chelsea, because he used to be very, very slim, a very lanky guy. But no. After that, he really bulked up, and he still kept his pace. So I think he basically just added something to his game. He used to be strong, powerful, but now he's a beast. Like, he's a force to be reckoned with.
The Blues have said in the comments there, it was basically on what I said. He said, it says there, that moment when Broja kept the ball on the left wing with 5 Arsenal players around him was hilarious. They just couldn't touch him. And the Broja wanted to lay it off. So he wanted to hold it up and lay it off. But because he was so strong and found the Arsenal players so easy, he didn't even lay it off in the end. He was thinking, shall I turn the player? Because he turned the player, went past him, then come back, then turned him, went past him, then come back. And that, when I seen him down that left-hand side, I actually thought when Broja got the ball, there was nowhere to go. But he made it somewhere to go. So he did something that I didn't expect Broja did. So when Broja got the ball down the left-hand side, I was thinking, there's nowhere to go. He smashes shoulder to shoulder, goes past him down the left wing. And I was like, I'm thinking I didn't even know that was possible. With Calvert-Lewin, you don't see something happen that you don't expect to happen, I feel. It's either into him and back. Broja forces something. So he went shoulder to shoulder, past the player because he was confident that he was going to get the better of him. And I think that's the difference. That is the difference. I don't think Calvert-Lewin was that bad, but I think Broja can do something extra. And that's what we need. That's what we used to have as Lukaku. We used to play so many balls into Lukaku where we'd just smash it into him and he'd say, let's go shoulder to shoulder with a centre-back. Centre-back couldn't get it off him. And we'd get so much joy out of that. And I'm seeing that in Broja a little bit where he can put himself against the centre-back comfortably and feel in control. That's what I think he does. He can go up against the centre-back and say, right, you're not getting the ball off me. Where I feel with Calvert-Lewin sometimes, he gets rid of it quick because he's not as comfortable with his ability as Broja is. Some people will say I'm getting overexcited, but I've watched our strikers bottle it for a long time now, and I just think Broja, he could be good. If we need to keep him fixed, he excites me. Are you with me on this, Paul? Am I getting overexcited with Broja?
No, I think Broja's at the moment the best striker we've got. We've just not got the chances yet. He's hungry as well. He's got something. He's got something to prove. I think Dominic moves around the pitch as though he's got nothing to prove. He sort of had that season during COVID, did well, got his England cap, come back from injuries, but he doesn't look as hungry as he used to. And I think Broja feels as though he's obviously got something to prove. He's on loan and everything else, so his future's sort of up in the air. He doesn't know what he's going to do after us. Is he going to end up staying with us? Is he going to go back to Chelsea? Is there going to be any place for him there? So he's working for his wage, if you like. He's working for his next step, wherever that is. And Dominic at the moment doesn't seem hungry as hungry as Broja or Beto, to be fair, because Beto's, absolutely unpredictable. He doesn't know what he's going to do sometimes, but you can't deny that he's hungry to do well and try and get in the box and battle and scrap for everything. Dominic's not sort of got that personality at the moment, so that's why those two other lads should surely be in the frame ahead of him.
I don't think he's going to. I mean, Radian, you had him starting this game. I don't think he's going to be far away from starting. I think he would be starting if Daesh. When Daesh thinks he's. Even Daesh, who does a lot of our heads in, I think he's a big fan of Broja. And I think the moment Broja is fully fit, I think he's going to be starting for Everton. I just think Daesh wants to blend him in because Daesh is probably thinking this season he's going to be vital. And I think he wants to do what he did with Calvert-Lewin, blend him in slowly. But when he starts him and he gets a full game and he's fit, I think Daesh wants to play him week in, week out and get consistency, game time out of him. So you agree with me with that, Brady? I think he's trying to get him ready for a lot of games in a row with Broja.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be eligible against Chelsea, which is, of course, very bad for me because it gives me less games with my forfeit. But, yeah, I mean, then there are 2 games in 3 days, which is City away, the 26th, and then Forest at home, 29th. Yeah. I think he's actually going to start against City because it suits him more in terms of the spacing behind and stuff. But I think he's 100% going to start either of those games. Not both, but at least one of them. I think so.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's nice to get excited. Dominic Ndiaye excites me. And it's nice to get a striker that's not predictable. That's the main thing, isn't it, Paul? Because our strikers, I think you can watch them and you know what they're going to do. We want a striker that's going to do something different. Something where you say, oh, he's got something I didn't even know there. And we do want that. Come on, Broja, please be good. Right, I was
just going to say, obviously, we want to see Ndiaye in the opposition's half. That's why sometimes it's frustrating. You know, we don't have very much of the ball in the opposition half unless it's obviously a game like Wolves or something like that. But in most cases, we don't seem to have it, and so we want to be higher up the pitch. Ndiaye, to his credit, has defended really well and helped Mykolenko on that left-hand side. You know. But we want to see those lads in the opposition's half in that area and making a difference for our goal count, not just how well they can defend. So when we do have some games coming up over the Christmas period that you'd look at and you'd hope we would get good results from, I think it'd be those lads who will be the difference. I just hope they get actually picked and get to play in that opposition half.
No, I'm with you on that one. Hit that if you can hit the like and subscribe. There's been plenty on the match reactions. You do get behind us, but we are pushing for 8,000 subscribers now. We really do want to push for that. We want to make this channel established and get it to the top of the YouTube so we get it watched every show as much as we can. So do hit that like and subscribe if you can. I'm going to chuck it on all 3 of us now, and then we're going to finish with the forfeit of Broja not scoring on Radiant. And we'll have a look what we've got in the comments. So, Paul, Radiant, and then me. Here we go. Get it in the comments as well. Let us know. Paul, you're man of the match, mate. I seen you mention it a minute ago. Who's your man of the match that game?
It's you know what it is. It's actually pretty hard. I mean, Pickford you go to clearly. If you're thinking of alternatives to Jordan. I can't believe I would say it, but yeah, Ashley Young would be a shout. Mangala, I think, would be a shout. So would Garner Gay. I thought, even though there was a few misplaced passes, Tarks and Branthwaite obviously did well, but I can't see further than Jordan for me. I just thought he's another level. He's another level.
Paul's gone for the Jordan Pickford. Radiant, who are you going for, man of the match?
I mean, easy pick, Pickford, but it's a bit of a boring one. Another one, or maybe even 2, you could say. I think I'll put them side by side. Ghana Gay and Mangala, I think they were fantastic. Not only defensively, but every time they got the ball, they looked calm, cool. You know, they turned on a player, slowed it down, passed it away. So I think either of the midfielders or Pickford. Those are my man of the matches. But Pickford is, of course, the best.
Yeah, the saves that Pickford made, I'm the same. I've got to give it to Pickford. The fact that Pickford does that a lot makes me think you can't take it for granted, but makes me think we're used to it. I think it was nice to see Mykolenko play better. I think his game was better, but the two in the centre, which you rightly gave a shout out for, Mangala and Ndiaye. I think every time something was in the box scrappy where the Arsenal looked like they could score, Mangala and Ndiaye popped up to clear it or holded it and shield. They was just always there, weren't they? I think any sign of danger, they was there, and that was nice because normally they're not there and we concede. So it's nice to see our centre midfielders get involved. We're 1/3 into the season, and Young is currently player of the season. Young has been fantastic. He really has been fantastic. I ain't got a problem with him. I haven't got a problem with him. I can't hate on a player for no reason. And Young, I forgot about last season. This season he's got a fresh start, and I think he's pivotal. They looked. This team. They looked together today. That's what I want. I want the team fighting for us. When you seen at the end of the game Jordan Pickford going like that when he's got the draw, and you seen Ndiaye, the Radiant, you put a picture on X of Ndiaye, Pickford, and Branthwaite all standing over the ball for the game to finish, like trying to see it out, and you've got them all standing there over the ball to see the game out. They come to the Emirates Stadium to upset Arsenal and not get defeated, and they succeeded. There it is. Look, there it is. Look, they come on
that.
They come on a mission today to play in a fantastic team like Arsenal, and they stopped them. Radiant gets all the pictures. I don't know how he does it, Paul, but Radiant gets pictures like that, mate. He's on it. I swear he's at the games. He's got to be at the games, Paul. He's at the games. He's the cameraman at the games, and he gets all the pictures. But yeah, it was a bit of fighting for us today. I can get behind that. So I've seen all the comments. A lot of people's reaction was, I'm really happy with the draw. Of course, we would have liked to have snatched a win. But if you can't, a draw away at Arsenal, a team that's fighting to win the league, I don't think we can grumble that much, can we? I think we've got to be happy with that. Right, what do we have in the comments then for the forfeit, Paul?
I
did see Emma say like Dyche impression. That's probably
is that what she meant? Yeah. There was someone who said that they had one, but you might end up going too far. I don't know what it was.
They didn't say.
I'm intrigued now.
Probably.
I wish Young would tell us. To be fair,
he is.
So it might have to. Dyche's impression would be decent.
Yeah, we'll go. But we're not going to hit you too hard this time. So we put you massive. We gave you the guitar and a song last time. I feel we put you under pressure. But I do like. I don't know if you've seen it on the. I am going to give you the Dyche impression, but I put the song up of I Just Met You. What did you think of that one, Paul? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. That. Yeah.
Hey, we just loaned you. This is crazy. Armando Broja, score for me, baby. That was the one, wasn't it? It's going to take a while for me to learn. Hey, we just loaned you, and this is crazy. Armando Broja, score for me, baby. I think he's going to start scoring for us, of course. Right, Dyche impression, Radiant. What you got for me? This is Radiant's forfeit. It's 2 games now. It's his second game without scoring. You've got 4 left before you're in the cold water. So hit me with the Dyche impression, Radiant. What do you got?
I'll need to drink like a couple of cups of tea after destroying my throat here. But let me try. So, I think it was a good game today. We played Arsenal off the pitch with a fantastic game plan. Armando Broja got on and he did well. He did well today. So, yeah, it was fantastic from. It's already hurting.
You didn't. I don't know where. You didn't sound that, but you sound like a movie star. You didn't sound like Dyche as much as him. You know what I mean? You pulled it off well there. You did it well.
I know it was good.
But who we got next game?
Chelsea.
It is
Chelsea, and then who we got the 2 games after that? 3 games after that.
City and Forest.
Forest. Broja will score City or Forest. Of course he will. But we will keep doing the forfeits. We know you like a bit of fun. Emma was laughing there. You got your impression. Of course you did. We love to have fun. I'm happy with that. I think we can have a good weekend, can't we, people? We all seem pretty happy with that.
What I will say is the World Cup draw was yesterday, and Broja is going to face up against Pickford at Wembley in March. So that's an
Hey!
interesting one.
Yeah, brilliant. I'd noticed that.
If I really do fall in love with Broja, I'm not sure whose side I'm going to be on now. I don't know. I don't know whether I want Broja to score against him or Pickford to make Broja look crap. I don't know. I don't like my players coming up against each other. I'm not a fan of that. Hopefully, Pickford doesn't play in goals that game and Broja scores loads. Who knows? Right, people, we are dropping the banner now. Thanks, everyone, for listening in. It is Arsenal at home, 0, Everton, 0. So I'm happy with that. A draw away. We got a point. Keep putting stuff on the table and we can crack on and have a good season. Right, I am going to drop that banner now, everyone. Thanks for listening. See you soon. Bring on the next game, Chelsea.